Good afternoon, Bhavna. Good afternoon, Sriram. I hope all are safe at your end, people. Okay, so it's 3 p.m. We all are set to begin with our today's webinar. Very warm welcome to all the participants to this beautiful Friday afternoon. I welcome all of you to this exciting series of HR Association of India, along with Great Manager Institute, brings before you the 2021 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Leading People in Current Times. Great Manager Institute conduct a people manager survey in India and have come up with the list of top 100 managers. And the recognition is powered by Forbes India and Great Manager Institute, where we are fortunate to have 5 managers from the esteemed list who would be sharing their success stories, mantras, hits and misses, and achievements over leading their team in current times. To know more about HR Association of India and Great Manager Institute, I would request all the participants to visit the link and details posted in the chat window. Request all the participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It's my privilege to introduce Mr. Srinivas Surapani, Vice President, Global Capability Centers, HR Services, Schneider Electric. I would also like to thank him and congratulate him over his recent achievements. With over 2.5 decades of rich experience, of which 1.5 decade into people management, Mr. Srinivas has led a distinguished career with a constant focus toward customer centricity and continuous improvement. Following an unconventional career path, he has made the decision to move from purely commercial excellence role to human resource role. And it was there that he found his calling. His dedication to bring HR transformation through enhancement of employee digital experience, increasing efficiency, and effective HR operations is unparalleled. He approaches every obstacle as an opportunity and passionately displays a unique flair of enthusiasm in creating an environment of warmth and openness. As one of the key vice presidents in the organization, Srinivas has delivered impressive results in translating business strategy and prioritizing HR action plans based on thorough business understanding, agility, and customer advocacy. Srinivas has always believed that people are driving force of any organization and that investing in the satisfaction and commitment is the most important role of any leader. Keeping this in mind, he is very vocal champion of accepting non-judgmental workplace, constantly mentoring his team and how to be better and how to grow. In his free time, Srinivas enjoys spending time with his family, taking long drives, and playing outdoor games. He is happily married with a supportive wife and 2 wonderful children. You can follow him on LinkedIn, and the link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Once again, congratulations, sir. We are happy and super excited to have you over here. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sham. Before I move on to my presentation, first of all, warm welcome to all the participants. Thank you for taking time to join this afternoon. I know I'm sitting between your weekend and the presentation. I'll try to make sure you have good takeaways from this presentation. So for me to stitch and my speech and the slides, I have actually put in two quick poll questions for you guys. Request you to take those polls. Sham, if you could actually help me put those polls together. Yeah, the first one is what management level are you in your current organization? If you could actually answer that. By the way, this is not mandatory. It'll help me. So it is optional. If you could actually answer this for me, please. We just hold it for another 30 seconds. Oh, I didn't notice actually. There is a timing already. So, or you can stop it now. I fairly have some idea now, Sham. Maybe the next question.
So next poll.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what roles are you managing in your current organization now? This will also help me. Wow, a lot from HR. Second leading is software and then admin. Maybe another 30 seconds. I still see some of you are still joining. It's the corporate life, right? So back-to-back meetings, one meeting gets over, you jump onto another one. So I understand some of your previous meetings would have got overspilled. So, all right. So HR, software, admin, and others. I think we're good, Sham.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for participating and helping me give some idea about what kind of audience we have. You could close the poll window.
You have to just click on the
Done that. Just confirm to me if my presentation is visible to you.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Fantastic. Once again, I hope wherever you are, I hope you're safe and healthy. All your friends, circle, family, everyone is safe, are safe. So I put my presentation and I want to do a storytelling to all of you, right? So first of all, I want to take you back, all of us, to a year and a half or 2 years back, and how the pre-COVID scenario was, and how is it today. I don't need to tell about what is it today, and then I want to also share some data, which are captured from the very credible organizations, and then share what I or Schneider Electric or my organization are doing to manage the situation. So just a context setting or setting expectations is there is no one solution which fits all, right? So your organization is different, your role is different, your situation is different, your location is different. So, but I will try and share what I have done, what worked for me, and you could customize, and this could probably work out for you too. And the second point is my objective is not to just come here and present 30, 40 slides and move out. My speech or my presentation is successful only when you take away one or two strong points from this meeting. I think that's when the return on investment is actually achieved. Right. With that said, let me before getting into pre-COVID, I also should take this opportunity to talk about Schneider. I represent Schneider Electric. It's a 27.2 billion euro organization with a 135,000 employees in 100 countries. We are a very customer centric And the biggest focus in India now, we are also looking at India. In India, we have global solutions. We have R&D here, we have HR shared services here, we have finance shared services here, and we have around 20 plus factories here. So it is a global center, and there is a lot of focus in India now, right? So that's just a backdrop and where I come from. And in Schneider, I have been here for 15 years, and I've grown along with the organization. uh, my background, my passion initially when I started off my career was a technical guy. I used to eat and sleep only data centers, servers, routers. Slowly, I moved up the ladder. I've changed and became a sales guy. I did sales for some time. So if you see, prior to joining HR, I was more from a business guy. And I'm sure there will be a question in your mind, why did you come from a business to HR? It came on my way, and I wanted to also get in some diversity in my exposure. And this is the organization which actually supports, right? So this organization wants to give you opportunity, ask you to decide where you want your career to actually focus and move on. So hats off to this organization. If I'm here as one of the loyalist, and there are many though, loyalist employee for Schneider Electric, I think it's purely because of the culture, right? So that's about the Schneider Electric and my role. Now moving on to the pre-COVID and post-COVID scenario. Many of them would ring a bell for you guys. In fact, on the left side, you will see shopping, marketplaces, flying, touring, vacations, partying in the pubs, going to restaurants. I wanted to symbolically show when you see a house and a door there saying we were on vacations, our doors were getting closed. Many of our were partying with our social parties rather. Our meetings were in boardroom, and watching movies, sitting next to each other, eating popcorns, and then, needless to mention, if you're from Bangalore, the traffic. Now, if you look at what is post-COVID scenario, I wanted to represent here and say that your doors are open, which means you're almost every day in the house, locked. Your boardroom meetings are converted to virtual meetings. But did things change? Did things stop? No, everything was moving as usual. Uh, the mass social distancing, you know, and the traffic is not at all there. No international trips, no vacations. And the last one I wanted to, I'm sure many of us actually started practicing our hidden talents, and I did too. Getting into kitchen, trying your hands, watching YouTubes, and try to create some, do some support to your family, and also do some new cutlery or new dishes. So this is what how things have changed in the just one and a half year time. Doesn't it look like a dream in one and a half year time? How things have just vanished and moved to a new era. Coming back to the theme of our session today, we said leading people in current times. So I wanted to actually divide this into two pieces. It has a strong meaning in leading people and in current times. Well, would leading people change by the times you are in? Absolutely yes. Can you follow the same scale or measurement or the way you manage people in the past versus today? I think it doesn't work out. And that's exactly what I wanted to share some stats saying why we should actually change the style of leading people in the current times, right? When I say current times, today it could be pandemic and we are all sitting on wave two, and we're not sure if this is the only wave, and there could be a wave three or it could be wave four. Very uncertain, isn't it? Now let's also here I will show you some data points, and I also talk about some of the challenges, how companies have actually converted those challenges into opportunities, which will help us raise some eyebrows, and many of them you are aware of it, nothing new to you, but it's good to look at some of the facts around us. Now, if you look at this one, and on the left side versus right side, the more you go towards the left, it is the impact on how each of these companies have felt on the new novel corona pandemic situation. Now, on the left, you will see beneficiaries. Alibaba, which is more towards e-commerce, right? So you don't need to, you can sit wherever you are, you order what you want and you get it, which was there before, but this pandemic actually helped them more. Zoom. Did you ever hear this company, which the same platform which we are doing our virtual call now, a seminar now? Did you ever think about it? Did you ever hear about it? AstraZeneca, hospital segment. These all popped up. So these are the beneficiaries because of the pandemic and how they have converted the challenges to opportunities. Now, some of the likely survivors, manufacturing, fast food, construction, chemicals, these have to be, they have to live, and we can't survive with them. But then likely reinventors, while you may not see most of it now, travel, education, you don't need to mention if you're in India, how it has actually transformed. Today, you're on the same calls on the next room, you have your kid and kids managing the school virtually. Things have changed. The education system have drastically moved into a virtual platform. Did the school stop? Did the education stop? No, it's a new way of learning. Sports, probably today we don't have anything. I'm sure there is opportunity for that. Traditional retail and others. For some reasons I don't see the screen here. All right. And the business casualties which I wanted to mention here. You may ask why India is not there here. So this is the data so far. These are the top countries. When I say business casualties, how many of the companies, mid-size startups, large companies have actually collapsed because of this pandemic? How many of our employees have lost their jobs, and how many of their families have started struggling? So it is scary. It is scary because of this pandemic and the impact it has created in different organizations. One more graph on this one is how the demand actually shook us by sector. Did we ever think that the entertainment and recreation would really go down? No movie theaters, no multiplexes, no movie theaters. Everything is gone down, and this would have we would have never even dreamt of this situation, right? And these, by the way, these graphs are from reliable global sources, and it is good to actually check this. Sometimes gives you goosebumps. It is wow, what has happened just like that in 1.5 year. And now a couple of, on the right side, if you see electricity, waterways, these are daily needs. These will continue, and you can't do anything for that. You need agriculture, you need construction, manufacturing, and health. These are the demand will continue. But then if you look at on the left side, these some of these sectors, it is actually scary. Now, coming to now, I know we have seen the situation, how pre-COVID, post-COVID, we have seen some graphs and trends in the sectors and the companies, how they're moving. One other important thing is, I'm sure many of you have heard about this one, is, uh, sorry, many of you heard about this, is the remote working. Remote working or hybrid working are the buzzwords today. And there are three stats here. 88% of organizations agree that COVID-19 has fundamentally changed best practice for workplace processes, methodologies, locations, and design. So you could be having the best of best methodologies and practices, but now they're null and void. They're not fitting the need of the new ways of working today, right? And if you look at the second graph, 89% of organizations recognize that the value of employee experience as a crucial strategic differentiator. Why? People are the biggest machinery any organizations can have. And you employee experience, there was always a focus. But I think at this point of time where our employees are emotionally broken with this pandemic, it is a lot of stress at their home, at their personal situation, and it is very important now at this point of time to take care of our employees. And most of and you see 38% are very satisfied with their current capabilities, which means there is a gap of 51% of companies which are still trying to reach that level of keeping their employees happy. The third graph, you will see 75% of employees would prefer to work from an office than from home when safe. They're saying, okay, today it is a situation, we may, the pandemic is going to be over and we would want to hit back to the offices. But who are these guys who are saying that? Primarily the young employees, the millennials, and just out of college, and this is what the survey says. Now, a few pointers which are very, very critical, and this shook me up actually. This absolutely shook me up. Uh, Mental health problems and other stress related challenges are leading causes of early retirement. With the pressure you have, see, all this while there was a differentiator that this is office pressure, this is my personal pressure. But now when you start combining them, that is actually taking you to a lot of saturation. So people have started giving priority to their health. A lot of people said that, okay, I don't, money is not important for me, maybe let me retire. And there is a high absence rate in a lot of companies, overall health impairment, and low productivity. And this is what WHO actually says. And some facts and figures: worldwide, 615 million suffer from depression and anxiety, which cost the global workforce an estimate 1 trillion in lost productivity each year. This is by the HBR, Harvard Business Review, and I'm sure this is more now. Plus costs like turnover and low productivity. Uh, we have done some survey, and I'm talking about fresh knowledge of doing survey with some companies and even within our company. When we did a survey last year, many of our employees, or many of the top company employees, said that, hey, we feel very comfortable working from home, we love this flexibility at sitting at home and doing work at when we feel productive, and we will do it at our ease. The satisfaction levels, and many people were saying we would, I mean, roughly around 85 to 87% people were saying that we would like to work from home. But I think in the last 1 year, things have changed. You sit between the walls, you don't see outside world, no social relationship, not collaborating, not every time sitting in front of the computer has actually burnt out. Now things have changed. People are saying we would want a hybrid. Maybe in a week, 2 days or 3 days, we would want to come back to office, spend time with our friends, our manager, our teams, collaborate with them, party with them, enjoy with them, learn from them. So that is something which, again, and the next point, if you see that the burnouts at a global price tag is 322 billions, from a low productivity and turnover. Psychopathology symptoms increased to 37 from 18.2. By the way, this is only done on the top few countries, but then if you do it globally, I'm sure this is very, very high. I'll tell you why. In my previous slide, on the right side, I've showed you, maybe I'll take you to that slide. See, if you see on the right side, the business casualties, many of us, we know our friends or some of our colleagues, not only in India, across different countries, have lost their jobs. There is a lot of psychological safety issue coming up in a lot of us. Hey, would our company survive in this pandemic kind of a situation? Would it get swept away? And this making you think about it, and you're getting burnt out. And if you see, 55% found changes in work routine and organization stresses, and almost half of all surveyed felt lonely or isolated when working from home. More than 40% said that productivity fell and it was hard to get work done at home. Right. So these are some facts, and I'm sure these are reflecting in your mind, and I'm sure you're thinking that, hey, I know I'm going through this one, and I think when you put the data together, wow, is this the biggest situation we are going through? So I want to pause for a moment now. I think I've gone a little faster than what I thought. I'll pause for a moment and see if you have, while we move to the next segment, how we manage the situation, how we should manage our people, how we should manage the operations, how we should manage the company, how we should be prepared for the wave two or wave three, how should we should be ready for the next challenge. I will just pause for a moment and see if you guys have any questions. Are we going the right wavelength? If all of you are with me. So in the chat, if you could say yes, or if you have any questions, I would want to make this more interactive rather than I'm sitting here and presenting, so that it's more fun. Sham, do you want to see if there are any questions or?
Yes, is HR relevant these days? That's the question. Otherwise, people are saying you're on the right track.
Oh, wow. All right. So that's a great direction. Now, I would say there are four paradoxes of the COVID era. One, I would say slow down and go fast. I'm saying hold on, watch, and then run fast. Understand the situation and see which direction are you going, and be know the situation very well and see that you are able to manage even the next league of the situation, right? Second one, many organizations are moving towards high tech. You talk about machine learning, you talk about AI, you talk about bots, RPAs. Well, let's not forget these bots, RPAs, machine learning are actually built by humans, right? Uh, let's not miss the human touch. You could bring in, and I strongly believe personally, right? So, this technology in any organization would help you improve your productivity. And there are any organization, I would say, I'll put a figure there, around 20 to 25% of the processes or jobs what we do are kind of mundane. These can be done by a bot or can be automated. So why do you want a human to do that when it is very routine, very mundane? I think we should give that job to the machines and let that do. And then we could be more productive. That gives us a lot of work-life balance, that frees up your energy. And don't forget the human touch, especially in this pandemic kind of a scenario. Empathy and display tough love. I like this actually. Be available for your teams. Empathy is the most important thing, which people, teams, company need at this point of time. So, and that's, let's not forget these basic values. Embrace flexibility and enhance control, and you will see more. I will talk more about it in the coming slides. When I say embrace flexibility, someone says, hey, you know what, it's a lockdown. And for us, I'm talking about Bangalore, and it could be different timings in different states. You could go pick your grocery or some of your food items which you have to eat, you have to survive, from 6 to 10 only. So some of you schedule meetings at 9 o'clock, 8:30. So can you be considerate? Can you be flexible to them, saying understanding the local situations? Be flexible to them. And then the most important thing is, as a manager, don't try to be a bottleneck. Keep all approvals, everything with you. See what you want to keep it for you, and then try to empower that approvals downwards, so that they feel empowered and they could take the decisions. So it's all about trust. It's all about how you give them empowerment. So I gave you a flashback: COVID, pre-COVID, data analytics. What are the key things which we need to take care of? What are the paradox we need to take care of? Now, if you have to summarize and visualize for a moment, if you close your eyes, I didn't talk about companies to transform. I didn't talk about pandemic being a pain. I talked about challenges versus opportunities. But what are we talking summary over here? In the last 4 or 5, 6 slides, I only talked about people. People being very, very important, and they are the key and the most important machinery for any organization to grow and develop. So few things I would want to share from my organization, what we have been doing, and just to mention, well-being is, I mean, it's not today. It's not because of the pandemic. We have been we have kept well-being at the heart of our company strategy for the last 4 or 5 years, and it is important. It is important. You can't let your employees burn out, isn't it? Now, few things what we have done. First thing is we are overwhelmed. When I say we, it is including you, me, everyone. We are overwhelmed with the information. You have it in your WhatsApp, NDTV apps, media, TV, newspapers, from your friends, some emails. I think we should also only let some credible information going to the employees, which they feel that okay, it's not that bad. This is the realistic, and give them the right information. Most importantly, over communication is a killer. I think we should keep the communication at a level which is appropriate, and we need to use different channels to make sure teams are aware of what is going on, what can you help, what can they do. I think the communication lines channels should be up at the right levels. Most important, if you're a people manager, be present, visible, and available. You need to be accessible for them. You need to be available when they need you. They don't need you every time, but then when they need, you need to be accessible, which is very, very important. Most importantly, you're not alone in this pandemic or in this struggle, right? Your organization is bigger than you any day. They're also along with you. So let people know that your organization is also along with you, and they're also working on this crisis to support all of us. Don't Let's not work on only hand to mouth kind of a situation, which means today you have a pandemic, let's work on this, let's fix this, let's move on. But how are we preparing ourselves for tomorrow? So dedicate some resource to create a transformation, to create a plan, to create a crisis team, and prepare ourselves for tomorrow. So that's how this is how we are managing in the current situation. By the way, when I talk about communication, the moment we heard about pandemic, we didn't wait for the wave to really hit us. We've immediately set up call centers. We have tied up with the chain of doctors who could do counseling on the phone. We have tied up with the vaccination centers. We have tied up with the hospitals. We have also, we talked about depression and people, a lot of them get going into depression. We've also worked out with a vendor program called Sati, where whenever you're on a depression, it's not only for you, it's only also for your family, and there are a lot of calls going there, and these doctors who are counseling doctors help the employees a lot, and we have seen a lot of positive response from that side. So that's what organizations should be more focusing on. I talked some of these bits in my previous slide. I'm talking about over centralizing the response. When I say you should not keep everything to yourself, don't centralize everything. Don't. If you're in an organization for about more than 5, 7, 8 years, this situation is overwhelming to you, and you want to make sure you have everything with you. You don't want to let that going down. You don't want anyone to have that control. That will kill you in a long run. Delegation is the way to change things over here. Again, uh, taking a narrow view, which is managing today's situation, hand to mouth kind of a situation, which I mentioned in my previous slide, would not help. Maybe it may help you today, but I think we need to take a very holistic picture. How do we manage the upcoming waves? We don't know. It may be there, may not be there, but I think we still prepare ourselves to work on both challenges and opportunities. The next one, I like this one, getting seduced by by managing, and it's more about controlling decisions, resisting to give some of this to some of your team members. That will not help on a long way at all. Last and most important thing, and I tell a couple of in couple of forums I did also mention, as the days are more moving towards technology, I'm worried about this title called HR. I think slowly over a period of time, the H in R will get separated. The human part will move out, and it will be resource management. But I think if humans are not there, which is us, how would organizations perform? So that human touch, empathy, sympathy, all of them are compassion should be made sure is not missing from our leadership, right? Now, at Snyder, as I talked about well-being, we are practicing this for a couple of years because we know each of us have go through. Okay, leave the pandemic aside for a moment. Especially in Bangalore, when you go from office to house and vice versa, look at the stress you go through. You would get into a traffic, you could hit someone, there could be a quarrel there, and then you lose your patience. You have an important meeting. There's a lot of stress around. There's a stress around your society. You hear bad news. So how do you manage this? So we have broken them into four pieces. And then I would want to actually mention the quote on the left side. I love this one. Taking care of yourself is the most powerful way to begin to take care of others. It's good. You want to take care of others, but then isn't it important that you take care of yourselves first and then look at other people? And there's a quote by Bryant McGill. So now coming back to the four sources of our fuel, energy are physical, which is more about quantity, emotional being quality, and I will talk about a little in detail in the next slide. Mental, it's about focusing. How do you train your brain to the situations you have around you? And social, connecting with your friends, connecting, learning is about the purpose, and not only connecting. How are you giving back to the society is very important. Now, the next slide, if you little in detail, I wanted to make sure each of you understand these four pillars. When I say physical well-being, it's more about how you're sleeping. Are you sleeping stressful? How is your nutrition? How is your fitness? How are you taking rest? Is all about taking care of your physical well-being. Now, the next one is about the emotional well-being. It's about how happy are you? How joyful are you? Are you confident? Are you peaceful, relaxed? So this is something on the emotional part of it. Mental, I told you, it is to train your brain to prepare yourself for any kind of situation. So that is also an important one. When I talk about social, it's more about connecting, supporting others, going out and doing whatever possible. We don't always feel that okay, I'm safe, I'm good. That doesn't work. If everyone starts thinking the same way, how would someone outside who needs support will get support? I think we should also serve the purpose. I think we should give it back whatever we have in whichever way. I practice this and I love this. In this stressful times, while this is not a practice which I'm only doing now, this has been a practice for me for the last a decade plus. Fun at work is very, very important. And I will also mention one important thing. What I practice is we have created. It's not an app actually, some kind of a tool where it is called as a moodometer, right? So when you wake up in the morning, you have your phone. Uh, Generally, what do you do? Normally, when you wake up in the morning, you look at your phone, look at your messages, and so on and so forth. The next immediate thing which gets struck in your mind is about, oh, how is my day today? How many meetings? What should I submit? What did I promise? So everything changes. At that point of time, we wanted our employees to select how is their mood. And there were instances when we have seen a threshold of the mood going down of the collectivity of the team. We said, guys, hold on. Let's keep the business aside. Let's have fun. Well, you may not come have a party or sit in the office and get together. You do those kind of parties, but then virtually, can we have fun? Can we start meeting? Can we start talking beyond office? Right? And if you are not having if you're stressed, if you're bogged with something out, you're burnt out, you're psychologically not feeling safe, how will you perform your duties? So we said this is something which we need to practice, and this fun at work is absolutely, absolutely important. And some of the stats you will see, employees are 12% more productive when they are happy at work. I know it is global stats. I can't beat that, But I would say it is more than that. It is nothing less than 40 to 50%. If I'm taking my own role, I'm also an employee, right? I'm more productive if I'm happy. And similarly, some of these which we follow at office. So you don't need to do your fun at work only when you're office. You could virtually also do that, right? Let me do see if I'm Sham. How am I doing on the time? I have just two slides, and yeah.
Yes, we have.
Okay, all right. Right. So guys, I want to summarize. What I talked about is how do you take care of your people, the well-being, the four pillars of well-being. Now coming down to the operations and how do you take care of your situation in an organization. Now, while you take care of your people, at the same time, from a processes perspective, I think we should also look at what are the non-valued tasks. What are the mundane tasks? How you could automate them, bring in machine learning, bring in AI, robots. When I say robots, RPAs, and also this has become a buzzword in the at least I know for the last 2 years. Agile is there for decades and decades now. But now with the current situation, agile seems to be working out very well. Agile way of working is very, very important. You give ownership to that person. He is empowered. He is empowered to do the job and he gets ownership. So agile can be looked at, and I'm not talking about a waterfall way or a Kanban way. I'm talking about how agile as a word. We need to change the working. Short interval meetings. Connect with the team in the first thing in the morning. Could be 10, 10 minutes, 15 minutes startup meeting, right? So check how is everyone doing. What are the deliverables for today? Which can happen, which cannot happen. It's all about setting right expectation. We need to support our employees. We need to go back to our stakeholders and don't hesitate to tell them saying that, hey, we are in a situation, and which I did it, by the way, and many in our organization, many organizations have. We have gone back because as the global role, I wrote an email to all my stakeholders, and you won't believe the response we got from them. Overwhelming. They said, guys, take care of your health, take care of your family. Work can come later, right? While I say that, most importantly, I think we can't, if you have to keep the next pandemic or the next situation, if you're trying to keep the knowledge in your brain, when I say you, all of our employees, I think that is a threat. We should create a repository. We should not expect the learning to retain in an individual's brain. I think we should more capture them in a centralized repository, which will reduce the dependency of an individual and which will help you during a disaster recovery or a business continuity plan, right? And learning. I will go back to my own example. I'm coming from business and I moved to HR. I got the HR role for the performance what I did in sales, and I said I would want to try moving to HR. Okay, they said okay, this guy is doing good job there, and they gave me HR job. But would I survive in HR without learning? Absolutely not. I would collapse in a month's time. But learning is the only way to grow. So you need to learn. You need to learn because the technology is moving, systems are changing, your ecosystem is changing. Learning is the only way to grow. And the new word which is hybrid working method. Now we are asking our employees wherever you are. We have supported our all of our employees by, I'm sure many organizations did, but I'm saying we were one of those first companies to support them, giving them infrastructure like a table, chair, net, internet, and some of these external monitors, UPSs. That is something which you need to provide them. And now people have gone back to their villages, towns, wherever they come from, and they're super happy from there, right? So I think we should let that happen because they're happy. There is flexibility. They could choose to work from there. We will see once the pandemic is over how this fares out. But if it is for my team, I'm happy to allow them to work from there, and maybe just to add a name to the face and to bring in collaboration once in a while. Come over, meet the team, and we could continue to work on that one. And in this technology world, dashboards and visuals are very, very important. You can't. So there are, crisis leadership and crisis management. When I say crisis leadership is more around human side, accountability, empowering, trust. And when I talk about crisis management, it's about machine side, creating dashboards, creating a centralized office, project management, information flow. So it is two different things. And the last one I talked about in the knowledge base, process dependency over people. Most importantly, I think what is important is resilience. And any organization which has shown resilience have absolutely survived this pandemic. And as I said, business continuity plan and disaster recovery for falling back onto a crisis situation should always be your number one priority. Don't feel happy on business as usual. We should always practice and make sure we have a disaster recovery plan. Most importantly, needless to mention, is trust. And that goes without saying, isn't it? Now, to summarize, I'm talking about the holistic four pillars. Plan and be ready to shift gears. Put people first. Don't forget that. Communicate often and early. Lead with care, compassion, and manage the post-crisis, the new normal. With that, I think I'm coming to the end of my slide. I want to end this presentation with this note saying the secret of change is to focus all your energy not fighting the old, but on building the new, right? And so to take care, now we are already in part two. Let's take care of the future, and together we will rise again stronger than ever. I'm confident, I'm sure that you are taking back some interesting points for each of your level. I saw some senior management, mid-level. I'm sure there is a learning, and we'll also open it up for questions. I think I'm on dot on the timing. We'll open up for questions, and I will be more than happy to answer your questions. Back to you, Shyam.
Thank you so much, sir. So before we take our participants' question, we'll be initiating the poll. Request all the participants to kindly share your feedback. While you're doing so, we request participants to kindly post your questions in the chat window. Once again, I thank all the participants for joining our session today. We have received a lot of inquiry about participation e-certificate offered by HRAI and GMI. You can claim your e-certificates by sharing your details, that is name and session attended, in an email to the email address provided in the chat window. Also, please ensure you do this by 31st of May. We will email the e-certificates to you based on the details received. Okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to post. Sir, I have already uh, messaged you separately with the questions that we have received. Would you want to pick one of them?
Yeah, maybe I will pick them. I see some interesting questions coming in. I think there was one interesting thing. Okay, I'm actually going too far. Okay, so this is from Ritu. Sir, as we are a resource too, we can possibly manage the people, but how can we manage our emotions as HRs during the course? But I'll tell you on a lighter note, HR is supposed to be more stronger in emotions. So that hence we are in that HR role. That's on a lighter note, though. These are times where everyone is an employee, everyone is a leader, everyone is a strategist here. Even in HR, not necessarily that HR designation brings your emotion quotient higher. It doesn't mean that. But I think it is a situation we have to live up to that one. For example, I'm HR, by the way, right? So we have to live up to the situation. Someone has to take that role. Uh, for example, take your own house, take your own family. Can we take turns and say, you take the responsibility, you take the responsibility? It doesn't work that way. Someone has to take that, right? So I'm not saying it should be only HR, it should be anyone, but someone has to take the responsibility and make sure the emotions are actually managed and taken care. Ritu, I did my best. I hope I answered, but then again, it's from my perspective. The next question is, time is so uncertain. I think this is Sham. Time is so uncertain, and so are we. When we don't know ourselves how things would be, how do we keep team together? What's your success mantra? Oh, sorry, Trisha, I think. Trisha, I mentioned about fun at work. First of all, the only way to identify, I'm practicing it, but you could also try the moodometer concept, which I told you. It clearly tells me when team is falling apart, when all of them are not in sync, when the collaboration is not working out, when there are some part of your team who are down for some reason. It could be emotions, current situation, work pressure, house pressure, society pressure, so local pressure. It could be anything. The only way is to find out, because you're sitting virtually, you don't see them, you don't even feel what is going on. The only way to find that is through the moodometer, and trigger some kind of get together activities virtually, and you will see. I mean, can you bring them up with their positivity immediately over one day? But I think you could do some magic, not a massive one there. That is the only thing which I have done, and I've seen that it is working out for me. So try your luck, Trisha. Uh, yeah, Gayatri, can we know more about how to enhance controls over our team? Well, controls and enhancing is a big word, right? So it depends on which team are you in, which department are you in. In most of the multinational companies, we call it as delegation of authority. It comes with a level. But then when for example, if you're an HR, if you're doing an onboarding, you're trying to bring in a new person, and there are a set of guidelines, and you have to do onboarding, and you need to bring in a vendor for doing some training. This approval is only with the manager. Can we give that to the person who's actually managing this training for the last 3-4 years, who is the master expert? Trust them and give it to them. So this enhanced controls is based on different levels. So you can't say, hey, this level you should get this one. I don't think there is a scale saying this level of trust you need to do here, this level of empowerment you can go to someone, this level of enhancement you need to give it to someone. So I think it is purely up to an individual, to a leader to decide, and but the idea is to percolate the empowerment downwards, right? So I can't say there is a particular scale there. And by the way, thank you for the question, Trisha and Ritu and Gayatri. Now, do we have time, Shan, for another one or two questions?
Yes, sir, we do have time.
Okay, what do you think about HR and management bring about the change and develop together? I'm sure. Today, if by the way, the change, let's not leave everything to HR. Change management is something done together. Uh, this Most of our companies, every company, whoever is working, sales are very important, right? And I maybe I missed out this point. I would want to mention it here. In 2020, You can look at the sales of big companies and banks and hospitals, not hospitals, banks and multinational companies. They haven't even reached their 60% of their target, right? So they because no one expected this pandemic. Everything was shut. The virtual platform was not there, and they didn't know what to do, how to plan. Customers were also overwhelmed and they didn't know what to do. The same companies in 2021, they're on par or probably exceeding their sales target because they have prepared in 2020 and they know that this will come again, and that system is actually working. Now that is exactly the change management. Who should do that? This should happen between the collaboration between the business and the HR. Why HR? I think the people element, the human element should be added to that one, and it should be done in collaboration between both of them. So Praveen, a good question again. Yeah, during this virtual, I think I like this question. During this virtual work environment, it becomes more important to tackle social isolation. How do you manage that, especially the new joiners? Can you believe this? I think uh, even today we are hiring. When I say we, all of us are hiring in different companies. People are joining. They're not allowed to come to office. They're not allowed to see who the managers, how the manager looks, how the HR looks. But you send the laptop, ID card, all that necessary things, ship them to their house. You do onboarding virtually. You tell them this is how Schneider looks, this is how XYZ company looks, this is how our culture is. It is tough days. It is tough days, and would this continue to be like this? I think we have to get used to this one. Today, we are probably a little behind. Most of the Western countries have been practicing this virtual work or hybrid work for last couple of years. Take USA, and I have some teams over there also. Most of them don't come to office; they work from home, and this is the norm, right? The moment you have a date of joining, you accept, you get your offer letter, all done. The onboarding process is that a week before you get your laptop, IT guy calls you, helps you fix that. HR calls you, does tell you what the culture is, how you need to onboard. Manager calls. I think we're going there. I think that is how the new norm is going to be. I think we should get used to it.
So, since we are receiving many questions, sir, do you want to take the last one, or we can wrap up the question part here?
I'm choosing. I see a lot of questions. So I'm just trying to see. Uh, Great implementation. Can you share some thoughts on addressing employee on their mental well-being? Okay, so Nandan, maybe I'll take this last question because something on well-being, I don't think anyone asked. By the way, the questions which are not answered, I think Sham, I would want to take opportunity to somehow maybe respond to them after this
We
meeting.
will. Yes.
And the last one is Nandan. Hi, Srini. Good session, and I'm glad that you are implementing great initiatives. Can you share some thoughts on addressing employee on their mental well-being? Very interesting question. So what we have done is uh, one mental well. You could bring in a trainer, you can bring in a doctor, and do virtual sessions to help you clarify how a mental well-being should be. How do you train your brain? How do you could conduct some yoga sessions, but I think it is all within us. How do we cooperate? How do you as an employee really want to master the art of mental well-being? I think the sessions, supporting sessions, many sessions we have done. We have brought in yoga teachers specifically for mental well-being because that is very important. If you learn the art of tweaking your brain, I think you won yourself. So we have done many sessions. There are experts who come and speak. When we were in office, we used to do some of the sessions even in person. but virtually also we have done many sessions where we I see many of our employees actually practicing this. But again, it is left to you. You want to practice it. You want to understand. You want to uh, train your brain, and you want to be part of this one. It is up to you. But from a sessions perspective, from initiatives perspective, we have done many of them and made sure most of our employees understand what is mental well-being. First of all, understanding, and then training is different one. So we've given several platforms. We helped a lot of our employees, but then again, it's absolutely up to them, right? Nandan, thank you again, and I'm sorry there are a couple of questions still, but I leave it to Sham and over to you. But I think before even giving it to you, I think I would take this opportunity to thank GMI, Great Managers Institute, and HREI, HR Association of India, for inviting me, giving this opportunity to interact with this participants here. Very interesting. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And team, if in case you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to and glad to share my knowledge, what I have. Thank you so much.
We are equally delighted to have you here, Srinivas. And so sorry to all our participants that we couldn't take your questions now, but please feel free to mail us those questions. We will connect with Srinivas and try to reply in a day or two. Thank you all for understanding. It has been pleasure being with you today, Srinivas, and I'm sure all of our participants has learned a lot and take away from the session. Key takeaways for me were, empowering your team, showing compassion, leading with agility, as all resources are human. Beautifully covered all those points. This session would not have been possible without Great Manager Institute, where we are privileged to be working with them on this series. So we all know about Great Managers Institute. I would want to welcome Ms. Nilima Kulwani, Chief Operating Officer from Great Manager Institute, to talk more about GMI. Over to you, Nilima.
Hi, Shrini. Thank you for the impactful session. Thank you for sharing some of the great practices that you follow with your teams. I think something for us to take away with us from this session. I personally loved the 4 paradoxes that you spoke about. It was a fine reminder to say that people management is an act of fine balancing, right? You have to care for your team at the same time, care for yourself also, especially in today's times. Thank you so much. I would like to take an opportunity to talk to all of you about what GMI does. As you're already aware, we run the Great People Manager Study with the likes of Forbes India, where we recognize the top 100 great people managers from India. The third cycle is currently on, and we plan to publish the list for this year toward the end of the year. Along with that, we also have other offerings for people managers like yourselves and for managers in your organization. We do great manager certification, where not only do we do assessment but also help them do effective action plans, taking some inspiration from the likes that Srini shared today. We also hold master classes for very relevant topics like this one, leading teams virtually, leading teams in uncertain times, and so on. So if you want to know more about what we do visit gmi.world. You can use the code HRAI10 so that you get a good discount for our offers, and look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much again. Thanks HRAI and Sham for doing a wonderful job at the session.
Absolutely. Sham, I think you're on.
Yeah. Thank you, Nilima, for letting us know more about GMI and the benefits extended to HRAI members. I would also like to thank all our participants for joining us today. Since Ganesh was not able to join us on Tuesday because of a medical emergency, we are glad to announce that he will be with us on Monday. Do not forget to join us there. We are looking forward to have a wonderful session with Ganesh then. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Srinivas, for this beautiful session. We would love to host you again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Yeah. Also, kindly register for our next event, and the details of the Next event is mentioned in the chat window. Do join us for the Dial-Up 2021 WhatsApp chat group through the invite link shared in the chat window. That's it from our end. Hope to see you again. Stay safe, take care, and bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nihali. We may conclude with the session.
Sure, thank you.